Here we're going to look at example 3 where we're asked to multiply complex numbers. So how can you write each product in the form a plus bi? Now, before we get into this, one of the key things I want to remind you of is if you go back up to the concept complex numbers, this is going to become important right here. All right, I squared is equal to -1. We want to remember that. So back to example 3, we want to remember that I squared is equal to -1. So in part A, we're looking to distribute here. All right, so I'm going to rewrite this to give myself a little bit of space. We're taking this term and we are going to multiply that in. -2.5 times 8 would be -20. The I will come along there. And then -2.5 times -9 is going to be a positive 22.5. And then we have I times I, which is I squared. All right. We know that I squared is equal to -1. So we need to simplify that. So it's going to become -20 I plus 22.5 times -1. All right. Continue to simplify. So -20 I. 22.5 times -1 is -22.5. And then we are asked to write this in a plus bi form. Sorry about that. We are asked to write in a plus bi form. So I want to write the constant first. I'm going to rewrite this as -22.5 minus 20i. This is pretty similar to things you've done in the past where you are distributing, you're multiplying variables. You can treat the I as if it was like an x or a y or any other variable. The only difference is that if you do wind up with an I squared, you need to change that to a -1. Okay, you need to simplify that. Let's highlight that there. All right, in part B, now we have a binomial times a binomial. These ones are actually conjugates of each other. So this is a word that's going to come up. I'll make sure I spell this right. This word's going to come up a couple times. You'll see it when we get to dealing more with fractions and simplifying fractions. Here, we're just worried about FOIL or distribution. So we're going to do 3 times 3, 3 times 2i, -2i. You get the idea. So 3 times 3 would be 9. 3 times positive 2i would be a positive 6i. -2i and 3 would be -6i. And then -2 times positive 2i would be -4i squared. Okay, so be careful, remember that I squared. The 9 is going to come down. Right? It's a terrible 9. So that 9 will come down. The 6i and -6i, these cancel each other out, so they're going to be dropped out. I'm going to bring down the -4, and the I squared I'm going to rewrite as a -1. -4 times -1, that becomes 9 plus 4, and then 9 plus 4 is just 13. All right, in a case like this, how can you write each product in the form a plus bi? Well, the complex part of that, the I, drops out. All right, it's not there. So our answer is just 13. And that I term is going to drop out when you have conjugates. All right, and that becomes pretty important. A couple examples from now, you'll see how we use conjugates to simplify expressions. But treat these how you would treat any other problem where you're distributing or using FOIL, that there's a variable involved. Just remember that anytime you have I squared, you want to convert that to a -1.